Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely and talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. Shell, it's Friday, season 3, episode 2. How you feeling?
Good.
Friday, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's a cold one today.
It is. Man, it snowed last night. The kids got it's a big deal here in DeSoto County. The kids got a 2-hour delayed start. But that sucked. I mean, I would hate that in school. We're gonna make you go. You just gotta go 2 hours later.
Michael kept asking, so what's this day going to be like? So what's going on
I
today?
thought you're pretty much gonna go to school, then go to probably recess. They won't let them go outside. It's below 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And they'll go to lunch, and then they'll just, I don't know what they do the rest of the afternoon on Friday, but probably not much. I bet it's kind of a hassle. Like, it worked for us because we got to sleep in a little bit. But you think if you had to be at the office and like your kids gets delayed, it throws your whole day off.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what do those parents do? I mean, they had to take a day off to take their kids to school 2 hours late because,
I don't know.
I mean, we're flexible with our schedule, but it worked for us. But I get used to a 9:30 start every day.
The alarm went off this morning, and then you, I guess, listen to that voicemail.
I picked my phone up first thing and saw that I had a voicemail. It was a DeSoto County number. So I said, all right, call it. And then it was like 2 hour delay at school. I immediately set my phone down and laid right back down.
Yeah, you said that's all I need to know, Jack.
Is that what I said?
Yeah. And laid right back down. But
it didn't last 30, 45 minutes. I couldn't
we
get
were
back to
already
sleep.
awake.
Yeah.
We were already awake. We started thinking about coffee.
So we're here doing our podcast now. This is not the podcast we planned because I'd planned to have a guest this week, but you were sick and we didn't get to record it.
Well, we were supposed to have Justin, who's our
Resident football sports guy.
Sports guy. He's supposed to be
He's
here.
my buddy that plays fantasy football with me.
But he's also a cook.
Yeah,
He's a
he's a
competitive
barbecue
barbecue guy. He likes to barbecue, but he's also a really
IT specialist.
Yeah, he's a really big sports fan like
Yeah.
you. Y'all, that's something y'all have in common, and so we're making him I want to do a podcast with just you and him
Doing
on
sports or whatever we want to talk about.
as soon as we have a little more time.
So we're going to bring Justin on in the near future.
He was supposed to come before Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But he couldn't make it. He was out of town. Then he was supposed to come this past week, but I was sick, and we're having to fit it in where we can.
Yeah. So he's still coming. I don't know when.
I'm thinking maybe
Closer to March Madness.
yeah,
maybe?
talk about some March Madness cooking.
So the Super Bowl, are we going to talk about that at all? You got it on the list today?
Sure, I had it on the list for later.
Okay, that's fine.
I was going to talk about jerk chops first.
That's what we did. Actually, I had so last week I mentioned if everybody wanted to follow us on Instagram that we were going to be doing some cooking Saturday.
Okay, you mean move to that section now?
Well, no, I was just saying that's what we're going to talk about. But then we talked about our jerk recipe this week. We're getting ready to go to Jamaica in how many days? Hold on, can I look it up?
Yeah,
You mind?
Yeah. Do you
We're
have like one of
going. We're
those
going on
countdown?
vacation because we haven't been on like an unplugged vacation. I got to pull my Sandals app out, pull it up because it's got a countdown.
I was going to ask you, do they have a countdown?
Face ID. Here we go. Do you want to guess how long and how
12
many
days.
hours?
Oh, it tells you hours. and
It
stuff?
gives me the whole day. 9 days, 13 hours,
wow.
10 minutes, and 9 minutes 58. It's ticking down right there.
9 days.
So we're gonna
Wow,
be-
I got a lot to do.
In Montego Bay. We're going to Sandals, Montego Bay. If anybody's there, y'all come hang out.
Please don't.
Drink a dirty banana with us. and
Please don't.
Some over
Leave me
rum
alone.
punch. This is a vacation where me and Shelley are going by ourselves. And
we're not.
actually, Heath and Candace are going too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still kind of like
Yeah.
you're doing your own thing. It's just nice to have somebody that you know that's there. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a party if I'm there. We're gonna have a party,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be a week long.
Malcolm.
Not
Holt.
thinking about work. We're not taking computers. I'll probably take my phone. I can't not take my phone. But you taking your phone?
I got to.
But we're not checking emails. We're not doing any of that.
At all.
And so I cooked jerk pork this week. Get ready. That's where all this is going.
Let's get to that.
Let's get to the jerk pork.
So, how'd you come up with the idea for jerk pork? Because it wasn't just jerk pork. We've done jerk pork before using
Yeah.
pork butt, but this was jerk pork chops.
I was just thinking what would be great grilled fast over some open flames. And I was, thinking about some meats, and I was like, man, thin cut chops, like the family pack you buy that flour, frying oil, serve with mashed potatoes and green beans.
Those as a kid.
That was one of my mom's staple recipes.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, I took those same chops, and I've used those chops for barbecue before. They're great grilled any kind of way. Just brush barbecue sauce on them. But they made some fire Jammin jerk chops. That's probably what I should have called them, Jammin jerk chops. But I just called them jerk pork chops. But it's a thin cut chop, and man, when you buy that pack, they always put a few pretty pork chops center cut on top, and then below it's like that front end, or they may even be some like thin cut pork steaks underneath there. My mom called those country cut pork chops or whatever, but where it's more up closer to the butt, and they've still got some bone in it, but it's it's a lot of other muscles too, other than that center cut loin. And everybody wants to buy pork chops because they want that big loin. Well, I like all that other meat. Those, those country cut or whatever you want to call them,
with the fat and
and all that. And it's some of them they'll even have part of that butt where it gets down in that spinalis part of it, or the money muscle end of it. I mean, it depends on how the butcher does them. They're just a commodity pack of pork chops that are cheap.
Yeah, and
I think I paid $6 or $7 for a pack of them. Yeah, and what I didn't show was I only cooked whatever fit on that grate the first time. I didn't want it to look crowded. And the other ones, I just threw some gringo on and grilled them to snack on too, the same way, just with gringo.
But you didn't sauce those.
I didn't sauce those. But the jerk ones, so jerk cooking, now this is the way I do it. And
I was going to talk about the actual cut of the pork chops. I don't think thick cut pork chops would have worked for this recipe very well. The way you're cooking them hot.
Yeah, no, you'd end up.
The thinner the better.
They'd probably burn up on the outside before you ever got done. That's the whole thing with doing a thin cut meat. You could do it. You just have to like sear it and get it over on the offside or raise it way up and cook them real slow. But the thin cut's where it's at for this one, because
it'd be dry on the inside. Too, by the time you did all that.
Yeah, I mean, I like a good thick chop grilled. I mean, it's good, or smoked. They're really good.
House chops.
Yeah, they're good. But I just think for this one, the thin cut chop's where it's at. Okay. It's a great quick dinner. I mean, you could marinate those the morning of. So the jerk process to me is all these flavors. You've got some spicy peppers, like in Jamaica they use Scotch bonnet peppers. Well, I can't get those here. I got habanero, and then it's got fruit juices. You got lime. You can put pineapple in it. You balance that out with some acidities, or I use some olive oil for some fat to go in it, and all these flavors, some of the jerk seasoning, and we put some fresh green onions in it, and a little bit of garlic. And I mean, you can kind of put whatever you want, as long as you stay in that jerk realm. That's the foundation. That's the marinade that everything goes in and soaks. It had some soy sauce in it.
Yeah. We pretty much took your marinade and your sauce recipe for your jerk chicken recipe and kind of adapted it a
little bit, made it a jerk. I mean, for me, it's no set thing that you have to have. I mean, yeah, you need some jerk seasoning. That's what makes that's what gives you those jerk flavors. You need some heat, and you can get the heat as hot or as mild as you want. But I like some of the flavor because habanero or Scotch bonnet has a really great flavor. Now, they're known to be super hot peppers, but if you put some gloves on, clean them up, get rid of the veins, and chop it up and add it, you get a lot of that, the fresh pepper flavor. And it kind of cooked out. Those weren't super hot. Did you think they were hot? And we put a pretty good bit. I mean, I put a pretty good bit of that pepper in there.
They were spicy, but not in a way like it didn't slow me down.
Yeah, it didn't slow you down. Well, so I marinated them for about an hour because we were trying to get the video done. But you could have put those in that morning, let them soak, or overnight, and grill them the next day.
I don't think
the longer you leave them in there, the more flavor they're gonna probably get to them. I mean, I don't think you can go too long. I don't think
we were missing flavor by only marinating them for an hour.
No, it had plenty of flavor.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, by the time you get them in there, and then I took them and re-seasoned them with a little more jerk seasoning, got my fire good and hot, and I was cooking these on my Weber grill with my Santa Maria attachment from Gabby's Grills. And
we'll talk about
that later. But what it is basically it's a grate that you can move up and down away from the fire. So I cooked open fire style. You could do this on 2-zone grill.
How would you do it on, like, let's say a PK?
I'd put all my coals on one side, have me a cool spot on the other side. I would get them seared first. I'd get them seared first, move them over to the cool side, start saucing them, and as they heated up, if I wanted to get them back, get a little more color, I could move them back and forth. It's just a lot more moving on a 2-zone one. I mean, it's perfectly fine to do it. And I've even, I've done a lot. The first time I did jerk chicken, I think that's what I did. I seared everything on one side of the Weber, And I had me a pan set up on the opposite side and moved it over to the cool side and let the chicken finish so it don't overcook it, because you're building these layers of flavors and you want a close line between everything's caramelized and charred but not burnt. And the way I've seen jerk done when we've been down in Jamaica or down in the Caribbean is these guys will have like 55-gallon drums split in half, turned on their side. They'll have wood that they've been burning down, and it's not everybody, you see people commenting on my thing, oh, it's not authentic. You didn't use pimento wood. Well, I don't have pimento wood. Those guys use what wood they have.
Yeah.
If they had oak or hickory, they would use oak or hickory. It's just about using what you have as a fuel source. So I used some lump charcoal to get going, added some post oak wood to mine, just for some flavor, but you could use whatever you wanted to burn it down and make, a good bed of hot coals. But they have their hot coals on one side of that big drum. The other side's kind of their cool zone. And man, they're working that grill. They're around it, moving chicken from one side, whatever they're cooking. And it's, that's kind of what I was trying to do with the Santa Maria type attachment. I started it down low over the fires. I let that pork start dripping, the marinade, dripping, it's hitting the wood, the fire's coming up, it's kissing it a little bit.
Heck yeah.
It's charring, I'm getting some color on it, and I'm moving these thin chops about every minute or so, 2 minutes, flipping them, turning them, flipping them, just moving them around. And then when I saw they had some color to them, I start cranking it up a little bit and cranking it up a little bit. And then I had my sauce ready. And so I just took one of the sauces that I'd used on another and kind of adapted it the same way we did the marinade, made a jerk sauce. To me, a jerk sauce has a sweet element, has a little spicy element. You got to have some jerk flavor from the Jammin jerk put back in it. You could use whatever jerk rub you want. It's kind of, think of a Caribbean barbecue sauce, kind of. I mean, it doesn't have the same elements as like a barbecue sauce, but it's the thickness of it.
It usually has a chunky element to
it
because
like
green onion,
garlic.
Yeah.
You can put all kinds of stuff in there. Some people say you put ginger in it.
Yeah.
You can do some different flavors. You can do chunks of fruit in it. If you wanted to mango it up or something like that, you can make it your own. But to me, the jerk flavor is kind of like that allspice flavor because it has that clove, the cinnamon, some nutmeg, all those kind of flavors of spice. That's what goes in jerk, and so it goes with it. And
one thing you said when we were cooking is if you didn't want to make the sauce, we could use the Buffalo Wild Wings.
They have a good one. Heck yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. Because I always get, there's 2 wings I get at Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, 3. Number 1 is the jerk. I like or they don't call it jerk. They call it, maybe they do call it Caribbean jerk. Caribbean jerk, Buffalo Wild Wings. Then I get the Asian zing. It's kind of their play on it's a little spicier than teriyaki, almost like a sweet chili kind of Asian flavor. It's really good. And those 2 things kind of go hand in hand. Because a jerk is a lot like that Asian style sauce. It just has more of that spice element to give it that Caribbean notes. But they're very similar characteristics.
Citrusy, sweet,
tangy, balance. Got some savoriness to it. Got the heat from the peppers. They just use like a Thai chili pepper.
Yeah,
and then they're using the Scotch bonnet or habanero. So they're very similar.
What's the third one?
The mango habanero. But that one will like
I can't eat that one.
Oh, it is really good though. I love it. And it's weird. Sometimes I'll go there, and I don't get to go to Buffalo Wild Wings very often. But when I do, I'll get I think it's a medium or large order, whatever I get. They'll let you split it up. There are 4 different flavors.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell them, give me 4 mango habanero and then split the rest Caribbean jerk and buffalo. That way I can get those and get some heat going and get a little sweat going and then go enjoy the jerk and the Asian zing. Because you got to watch it, man. I've got them sometimes they put it to it.
You're sweating. Your eyes are all bloodshot.
But sometimes you get them and it's mild. And I don't know if it's just who's tossing them that day or how much they put in there. But
yeah, because they're not mixing up that sauce.
Yeah, no, it's pouring straight out of a bottle. They're doing the same. They just add it to this big bowl and toss them and run them.
We used your Jammin jerk seasoning, which is a new seasoning.
Yeah, that came out with 3 new Malcom's lines of these are like my personal ones. But I wanted to do something. I want to do something other than barbecue. Yeah. Something that I use and that we use all the time. I mean,
your favorite.
I love the jerk flavors. I didn't go to the Caribbean the first time until we got married. We went to Jamaica. We went to the grill for our honeymoon, and I fell in love with that style of food
and the people and the lifestyle.
I could move to the Caribbean and live. Love it. This has got me wrote all over. I mean, if that's kind of my dream. Barbecue on a beach somewhere where you're on their time. Yeah. I mean, it's done when it's done. If you want to come up and sit at my little hut and drink a beer eat some barbecue off this grill, that's fine. But that's my retirement plan.
No worries.
No worries.
That's you. Yeah.
No worries, man. I love. I can't wait to go. But so that was. Then I did a Mexican seasoning because we do a lot of Mexican food. That's here in Hernando, we got 5 different Mexican restaurants 2 miles from my house. So is it that close? It's within town. Yeah.
So
I eat a lot of Mexican food.
But with the
and then I did the Cajun. That's another one of my favorite was the King Crawl. So I think all 3 of them are stellar.
Yeah, the one thing that's kind of missing is Asian. You do like Asian flavors.
I might have to come out with my big Buddha rub or something. Stick with those notes. Confucius. Something like that. I can come up with something that may won't be offensive to somebody. People got on to me about the Grande Gringo like it's offensive. I guess it's offensive to me.
I don't know. I just think it's hilarious when people say, I don't think he knows what that means.
Grande? I'm pretty sure that's big. Very big. And Gringo, so white man. I got that covered, I guess.
If you think that, you've never really laughed in your life.
Yeah. Like, not a happy person.
You're not.
Yeah. What do they think King Crawl means?
What does it mean?
It just means a big crawfish.
You and Andy Cap used to have a running joke of King Crawl. That's where I thought
that was our mascot. He had a little. We had some of the Mardi Gras beads with the crawfish on it, and we call it King Crawl. We'd wear it.
That means you're like the big kahuna.
You're the big kahuna of the crawfish thing. You got the King Crawl necklace on. You're the big kahuna of the crawfish bowl.
That's what I thought.
That's where it came from. That's exactly where that came from. I think I have a picture.
Asked you that, but I just assumed.
I had one with the crawfish, and so Andy, but he made him one. He just got him some Mardi Gras beads, and he had an old Rapella crawfish lure. Took the hooks off of it because he didn't have the original one from New Orleans. I got that one down in New Orleans, and he said, "I'm gonna make me one." So he had the fishing bait one with just the crawfish, and he wore it. So I was like, "Hey man, that's cool."
I gotta find that picture.
I know
that needs to go on the King Crawl label. So, but getting back to the jerk chops, that marinade and that glaze, it could have been used for chicken.
Oh yeah, man, you could use it for anything.
Yeah,
you could.
Any cut of pork.
Any kind of pork. I mean, jerk. They do jerk
beef, but yeah.
The 3 things that are always at the Jerk Shack when we go, are pork, chicken, and fish.
Yeah.
So you could use it man. I'm telling you what, you could put some fish fillets in that marinade. And then grill it, and you might not want to finish it with the salt. It wouldn't be bad, but they put it in some foil and finish it. Yeah, it'd be great. You're not going to go wrong with the pork and chicken in it, though.
Yeah,
wings,
definitely,
it's fantastic.
Ooh,
jerk beef. That's one thing I don't think I've ever tried. I need to experiment with it.
Yeah, see what it's like.
Mm-hmm. I do.
So how is it?
There's just not many cows down there. That's not what they're known for.
Yeah.
Is beef.
I mean that's they're impoverished,
were
for a long
probably
time.
Just ain't enough land to graze too much cattle.
That's true.
Every bit of beef's more than likely imported, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
You can raise chickens and pigs.
How hot was it cooking those chops?
It was very hot. A live fire ain't no joke. Well, it was windy that day too, and so we was kind of huddled up closer to the brick wall, and so it was. I was limited on space. I had to get in there though. It was fine.
I was afraid some of my equipment was gonna
get too hot. Yeah, I had to go. I had it rolling. You got to. It's live fire.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that in July.
It'd be hot. If she's on the beach, it wouldn't be bad.
Some people ask, since you use so many coals to get it really hot, what do you do with those coals? They didn't want to be wasteful.
Keep cooking more. I mean, granted, if you're doing that, you could probably get by with one chimney. Doing that style. I was just wanting a good hot fire. And let it go.
Let it go.
I want to cook it fast. Yeah, cook. What was it? 15 minutes total.
Probably.
I mean, 2 chimneys of coals. That's not that much. It wasn't even a quarter. I mean, it's probably a third of a bag. I mean, that ain't 2 chimneys. And I poured a little bit extra on top, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just asking.
Hey, I didn't think it was.
You could have pulled the attachment off, put the lid on.
Yeah, a few dudes on it.
Yeah, and let it
put it out,
and reuse
and then reuse that lump. Yeah, you could do that for sure.
You do that all the time.
I do it on my egg. I don't do it on Weber a whole lot, but the PK and the egg, I put it out all the time, and then sift the ash out, and then relight it back up.
Yeah, So
that's a great thing about using lump. You can't really do that with briquette, but the lump works really great. If you don't burn it all the way, you can keep going and get some more use out of it.
The kick ash basket works real good.
Heck
for that.
yeah. I need to get one of those for my Weber. I know I only have it for the big green egg. I need to get one for my Weber. I think I saw them make a PK one now. I need to get one of those too. Yeah.
So is it the shape of a PK or shape of half
that's
the
the difference in them. They're just
the shape.
Yeah. They've got all kinds of stuff for the PK now. I've seen people aftermarket stuff making like snake trays and ways to set it up for running for long cooks and stuff. We have one that somebody sent me. I don't even think it's still in the garage. I need to try it. It's like a tray that goes in one side to kind of create a 2-zone fire in the PK 360. I'll probably use that some coming up.
How would you cut the heat down if you wanted to? If you were cooking for the family, the spice.
Take those
pull
peppers
back on
out.
peppers, or
substitute another pepper. I'd buy some of those little tricolored sweet peppers or something. Put those in there if you want a mild version,
or a poblano or something.
Yeah, something little. Not as hot. See, a habanero or the Scotch bonnet, they have a real sweet element to them. So it's like a sweet pepper that's super, super hot.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the flavor's so good in them. And so those I know you've seen those little tricolor peppers like we buy at the supermarket for garnish.
Yeah.
Those would work great with the, no heat.
They're little.
Yeah. It's like a little small looking jalapeno shaped pepper, but they're usually
that's a good substitute.
Red, yellow, or orange. They come in 3 different colors. I don't think they come in green though, do they?
Mm-mm.
It's just red, yellow, orange.
Orange, yellow, yeah.
Really good little peppers. I like them.
We make pepper flowers out of them.
Yeah, and they're great for if you're doing stuffed peppers like jalapeno bites or jalapeno poppers or whatever, the ABTs, and you don't want the heat on those, you can substitute those.
That's a good.
Tricolors as well. They're kind of like a super mild.
So if you were going to serve this for dinner, you touched briefly on this in the video, but what would you serve it with?
I would serve it with like a traditional Jamaican dish, rice and peas, or it's rice and beans.
What kind of beans? Like a black bean?
They use like a little pinkish colored, almost like a red bean, but it's it's different. I don't know the exact species name of it, but I've seen them in Kroger over in the kind of what's that international aisle where they have stuff on the wall there. They have some different things, and they had the Jamaican style peas or beans, but that's what I would serve with it. Some plantains would be good, like cooked in a little
I've never cooked
skillet.
plantains.
You kind of, if you think of almost like a saute kind of, and you can put some butter in there and a little brown sugar, sweeten them up because they're kind of neutral.
Yeah,
they're good. I've never done them on the grill, but I bet you they'd be good in the cast iron.
Good.
Dude, I need to do that sometime.
You want to get it real easy, get you some Uncle Ben's Spanish rice.
Yeah, they do it. They do another dish. It's almost like a turnip green or a kale. It's a greens, and they serve. That's a real common Jamaican style dish, but it's like a bitter green. I don't know what species of green it is, but it's something that you see served. So I could say you could use some spinach or kale or something like that you sauteed would be really good with it. You could even do a spiced up version of like a cream spinach or something like that. That'd go really good with those chops.
Yeah, something creamy to
balance out some of the heat. Yeah,
anything
maybe add a little coconut milk to it or something just to kind of give it a
that
different
flavor. Yeah. Anything you do different?
Cook some more of them.
They were good.
I want some right now.
The fat got crispy.
That's my favorite part. The little edges where the fat wraps around the edge kind of, and it gets crispy, but it still melts in your mouth when you take a bite of it.
And it was spicy, but it was a good heat. Like it warmed your mouth, but it didn't burn you down.
You were dipping them in more sauce.
Yeah,
I mean,
a little.
I thought they had a pretty good bit on them, but I saw you had running them in it.
Just a little, just a little dip. What'd you say you like to sop?
Sop it up, yeah.
And the meat around the bone was really good too.
Mm-hmm. It was really, really good.
So we used the Gabby's grill attachment for that cut.
Yep.
And that is a Santa Maria.
That's what it's based on. Yeah. Santa Maria style grill, kind of famous, I guess, or used most often over on the West Coast.
So I did a little research.
Okay, what'd you find out?
This is interesting. So Santa Maria style cooking is a culinary tradition rooted in Santa Marina Valley in Santa Barbara County along the central coast of California. Traditional Santa Maria style barbecue was actually copyrighted by the Santa Maria Valley Chamber of Commerce in 1978.
So we can't. Is it like Is it like the big game? We can't say that.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it. Santa Maria style cooking. Y'all check them out. It's a California-based company. Yeah. That's where. But so
out there.
So,
but it's traditionally used for tri-tip.
Yep.
And
that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
They traditionally used live oak or red oak because that's what they have.
Common wood. Yeah. Burned down.
Yeah. But it was developed because that area is so windy that they tried to actually utilize the wind,
which oxygenates it, makes it, yeah,
using more oxygenated fire instead of the more traditional restrictive fire.
Yeah, in a grill. Yeah. Well, I love this style because
I thought that was interesting.
It's cool to me to cook over live fire like that,
and it's typically made of iron and has a hand crank.
Yeah, that's what lowers the grate up and down. So you create your different zones of cooking, say your 2-zone or whatever you want to call it, or indirect style of cooking by raising it and lowering it. So what they do, they have a huge fire grate. That's the typical Santa Maria grill. Most of them are square.
Yeah, most of them.
You build your fire down in this box, kind of, that's your metal compartment where you burn your wood down, you create your coal bed. That's where your heat's coming from. Closer to that you are, the closer you are to that hottest direct zone. And then, so the grate is kind of on this chain system that usually has arms that comes up and over it, and it's got a big wheel to turn it. And that's how you raise and lower it to get it in more indirect cooking. So as you're starting out, if you've got stuff that, is getting too hot or your fire's getting away from you, you can crank it up, or if you want to get something done faster, you can move it down close. It's really cool. A lot of grills, a lot of styles of grills have taken that kind of thing with the charcoal grills where you can move the grates up like on levers and stuff inside a closed grill. But I don't know, live fire might not be for everybody. I like it. I mean, having that fire burning and getting it going and hot, and you're poking around in it, making sure the coals are going, adding more wood to it. It's fun.
You got your towel.
Yeah. You get close to it, you get singed a little bit. But there's nothing like
the smell,
juices and the smell dripping down on that burning fire and what comes off of it. I mean, I guarantee the whole neighborhood knew we were doing jerk pork chops the other day with the wind blowing like it was. Because, man, the smell of it is just fantastic. And, a lot of those, there's places out in California, that's kind of the center of the restaurant. You're centered around a grill like that, or, that's kind of, something to be seen.
Yeah.
It's not like you want to be stuck off in the back. You want to see that grill. It's a showpiece.
Yeah.
Because you're live action cooking right there, and that's what I like about it. When I get a place that I have enough room, I want like an authentic Santa Maria grill.
That's why I like the idea of the attachment, because instead of adding a whole new grill, which we have
plenty of,
and we have more than we have places to put them.
Yeah.
This is just an attachment that went on a
Weber. Yeah.
And any kettle grill, really, probably.
Yeah.
I think he makes them for different sizes.
I was going to say, Gabby's Grills may make them for different things other than Weber. I just happen to like attachments for my Weber.
The only bad thing about it is the storage. It sat in the garage, and I would kick it and hurt myself until I finally got smart enough to put it on the top.
I put it up on it's up on the top shelf. I mean, after you store it, it doesn't have a cover or anything, so it's going to get cobwebs on it. It's going to pick up stuff. What I did was I started that fire, put that grill attachment on there, let it get good and hot, re-oiled it, scrubbed it down, re-oiled it, let it get seasoned, and it's good to go. Yeah, it's just metal. It's just like expanded metal grate, heavy duty steel. It's on a wire. The design of it's simple, but man, it flat out works great. It works fantastic. And I've cooked some other stuff on it. I've done some other videos with it using it.
Yeah, I forgot what you cooked the last time.
I don't remember either.
I don't either. I should have looked it up, but.
I need to do some tri-tip on it. I got a couple tri-tips in the freezer.
So, Insta-Saturday this past.
So, yeah, I told y'all we were going to last weekend, but it was something that I wanted to. We try to stay up on our Instagram and let kind of share what we're doing with folks. But we took a day last Saturday to where we were going to spend the whole day doing nothing but Instagram stories. And we tried to get good shots. We got little video clips. We mixed in, Shell had her camera out. It wasn't like how-to stuff. It was just what I was cooking for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And so I did, I ended up doing several things. The main focus was since the 49ers were playing the Kansas City. I wanted to kind of do some things along both those teams. So I did a Gold Rush hot chicken wing for the 49ers, California Gold Rush, kind of 1849, right? The whole theme going for the team.
Yeah.
And versus, and when you're doing cock in Kansas City, you had to do ribs,
Yeah.
Kansas City style ribs. And so that's what we did.
So how'd you come up with the idea for this Insta-Saturday?
I don't know.
Because your real idea isn't just to cook. Your real idea is to have people over and show kind of a behind the scenes of a cook. It's more about hanging out and stuff. We were just kind of dipping our toe in the water.
Seeing how it would go. Yeah. But, it worked great. We had a lot of people interact.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people followed us that day and looked at the stories. We picked up, some followers on Instagram. So this is something we're probably going to continue to do. And, we were
talking about doing it maybe once a month if we can fit it in.
Yeah. And it's really, I'm excited about bringing other people in, and let's all do something. And they can use their Instagram and we'll use ours and kind of collaborate and just do some cool videos and cool shots with it.
So let's talk about the wings.
All right. Gold Rush wings. So my thinking with that was, now I wanted to do a sauce that was kind of that yellow goldish color. Think of mustard barbecue sauce meets sriracha for West Coast feel, meets buffalo wing sauce. I used the Killer Hog's hot sauce mixed with butter. All that went in. So I just made a basic mustard barbecue sauce that kind of gave me the yellowish tones. I kind of had that gold color going from that. I added the sriracha, kind of deepened it up, and then mixed it with another the orange hot wing sauce. Everybody knows hot wing sauces. That's how I got that flavor. I added a little bit extra honey to sweeten up. So it had the spice from the sriracha and the hot sauce. It had the vinegar mustardiness from the mustard sauce, and then it had the butter to smooth it all out. It had the honey kind of sweeten it up. It was really great sauce.
Yeah, it was
really good. It would be good on wings all day long. It'd probably be great on barbecue too.
Yeah,
it really would. I can see a pulled pork sandwich with that on it, some slaw, would be excellent.
I'm not even crazy about mustard sauce, and I thought it was very.
Now for the wings, I didn't do anything crazy.
What'd you cook them on?
Just
I can't remember.
I put them on the Memphis grill.
Yeah,
I cooked them on the Memphis pellet grill, run about 325, and took about an hour is all. It doesn't take long. I cook them till they're a little bit, now according to doneness scale, they're overdone, but I like my wing to, all the bones just pull away. And then I just got a bite of meat. The wings have so much skin and so much fat under that skin that they stay juicy. So you can get away with overcooking them a little bit. They cook to like 198, 200 degrees is what I want to see. And, white meat's done at 165, but little coffee on your chin there. But yeah, so the wings were really good. They pulled apart perfectly. I did a whole wing. I like a whole wing where you can just pull the flat and the drum off, and you still got it. That's my favorite way to eat.
I like the
flats.
little.
We get along great because I'll eat the drum and then you'll eat the flat.
I like the little flapper too. It's got a little crunchy bite.
Yeah, I don't mind gnawing on that flapper. It gets in that sauce. And I will have to say this: those wings were fantastic. I will definitely be using that. I might do a video on that sauce. I was going to ask,
are you going to turn that into a real?
See, this is kind of where I was experimenting, testing stuff out. I never cooked that sauce and done. It was in my mind and I threw it together. So I might turn that into one of these days. It'd be a good one to do.
Because you seasoned it with lemon pepper and AP?
Yeah, that was it. I used Townsend's lemon pepper. I used some AP for foundation and dry brined them for about an hour. Actually, it might have been 2 hours because I knew I want to try to get them done at the same time. And so the ribs were going to take longer. So while the ribs were smoking, that first 2 hour part, I was dry brining those wings. And then it come time to wraps when I fired up the pellet grill and I got them on that last, hour while the ribs were wrapped, and they all come off about the same time. Yeah. So everything was fresh. And for the Kansas City style ribs, I didn't get outside the box with these. And really,
where'd you get the ribs?
They were Walmart ribs. I just went to pick up some St. Louis cut spare ribs.
You just bought whatever they had in the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look
that's
really
that's
good.
Standard Kansas City rib. They use a St. Louis cut rib, which is a spare rib with that breastplate cut off the bottom. I pulled the membranes. I didn't even square them up or nothing. I just full eating ribs and seasoned them on the bottom side when I pulled the membrane off with the hot rub to give me a little spiciness. Top side was all about color. I did my regular Killer Hogs rub.
I thought you did hot as a base on top too.
I put a little mustard on them. I mean, I just kind of seasoned them up. I was keeping it simple. This was just standard, like, and it's a Swedish kind of savory red kind of rubs, Kansas City style rub.
Yeah,
bunch of good ones out there. You could use any, and got them in some smoke. Used a little bit of hickory wood for them. Put a piece of cherry on there just because I like the way it smells. Smoked them 2 hours. Didn't do
hickory.
Nothing to them. The old hickory didn't baste them, didn't spritz them, didn't butter them, didn't do anything. Once they got the color that I wanted, I pulled out some full double layer and I put the rib down in it, meat down, nothing in the wrap. I just wanted to run these ribs just, pure and simple. Wrapped them up, put them back on. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. I checked them. I was seeing that, 200, 202, 203. If I saw 204, they're done. The bones kind of membrane, what's left of the little, thin membrane disintegrates on the back. Those bones start popping. You got the drawback. They're tipping. They're feeling good. Pulled them off, rest them just for a few minutes while I finished up the wings, and then put them back, flipped them over, drained what juice was in there because they did still render out a lot of juice. Brushed them with the sauce, and I cheated on the sauce. I used straight up. You asked me, he's like, "What sauce is this?" It's fantastic.
I didn't say it was fantastic.
You want to know what all I mixed in it? Because normally I whip up something and use my sauce and add to it. And I was just going for like a typical Kansas City flavor.
Yeah.
And I said, what can I get that's more closer than that? I just said some regular head country. That sauce has been around a long time. People use it. It's really, how could you not say it's not like based on a Kansas City style sauce? When I think of Kansas City style sauce, those flavors are what I think of. So I use it straight out the bottle. And you thought it was fantastic. It was really good.
I didn't say it was fantastic. I said I could definitely see how this would win a contest.
Yeah, because it does not offensive.
Yeah,
it just has barbecue notes.
It's nice, and you get that, and you want another one. Yeah,
they were eating ribs.
Yeah,
so I glazed them both sides, put them back on. 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops. Let that sauce tighten up a little bit. Brought them out, and sliced them, and the Kansas City Chief style ribs walked all over those last week. I don't know if it's because I hadn't cooked ribs
like that
since probably November, like that, or it's been a long time at home cooking some eating ribs. We didn't cook them all winter. We didn't doing different stuff. We had all the turkeys going in November. It's probably been back in October since I cooked some good eating ribs. We did a bunch of beef,
bunch of deer.
Those ribs were fantastic.
They were very, very.
They were so good.
They were better than any competition rib I had the weekend before at the show.
Yeah, I thought so too. You know what? I know what it is. When we're doing competition stuff, it's so easy to get carried away with. You got to use this combinations of flavors and the seasonings, and you're using a couple different things, and then you're putting all this stuff in the wrap. And you're
just messing with the ribs.
Yeah, you're basting them. You're doing this. You're trying different stuff, and then and then all of a sudden, it's all everywhere, jammed up. It doesn't even. It's like, why the heck do that?
Yeah.
And you cook something simple like I did for that, and it's like, man, this is what a rib's supposed to taste like.
So good.
It was so good.
It tasted.
So I like to think that's why the Chiefs won, because I cooked those ribs, and those ribs are so good.
It
has absolutely nothing to do with it, but it's got to be. And I'm not a Chiefs fan or anything.
That's an easy rib recipe to recreate.
Man, everybody needs to try that one.
Yeah.
It's 3 ingredients. It was regular rub, the barbecue rub, hot rub, and head country. That was the only thing I put on those ribs. And you could do it if you got your favorite rub. Just don't go heavy with it. That's all I did. I held back.
Yeah.
I held back on the seasonings. I had some good smoke going in the smoker. I stopped them when they got some good color on them. I wrapped them up with nothing in the wrap, and I took them off and caught them at the perfect time when they were. I checked them at the hour mark. And I said, they need 15, 20 more minutes tops. I checked them back then, and they were done. And that was it. It's simple.
That came down to technique.
It had
a really good technique with that one.
Yep.
So the Chiefs won. So
they did.
The next day was Super Bowl Sunday.
And I had so much fun doing Instagram on Saturday. I said, I jumped up, so I'm gonna cook some jambalaya and do some steps on it on Sunday.
And we did.
And I did. Yeah, it was fun. I cooked a great pot of jambalaya.
Yeah,
I did.
It was good. We took half of it. I'm glad we did that. I was like, why don't we just leave half of it here for the house?
Yeah.
So we took half of it in a crock pot to the Super Bowl party, and we left half of it and had it for dinner Monday.
Yeah, it was great. I made like a real fast shrimp etouffee kind of sauce it, and then when it poured over the top of the jambalaya and warmed it back up.
It was almost like a whole different dish.
It was. And it was good too.
That shrimp, whatever you did with that, it was good.
Yeah. It was just, I don't know what it was. I didn't follow a recipe. I just started I made me a roux, and then I sauteed me some vegetables, onion, garlic, pepper, sweet peppers, and celery. And then I added drained a can of chopped tomatoes and threw that in there, and then started adding a little bit of broth and thickened it up. And I put seasoned my shrimp up, some of the king crawl, and threw that in there, and just kind of like etouffee style. It was kind of like a shrimp gravy.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And you heated up the jambalaya.
And then I put the jambalaya in a bowl in the microwave, and then as soon as it come out of the microwave 2 minutes, put in some of that shrimp gravy over it.
It was good.
It was excellent.
I put like
I did some green onions in there too.
I did like 2 dashes of hot sauce on top, and that's all I needed.
It was fun.
Did you do any gambling on Sunday?
I did. I got over to my buddy's house, and they all had bets in, and we did squares. I didn't. Did I put my name? I don't know if I did any squares. You did squares, and Michael did squares.
Yeah, I did squares.
I don't know if I did or not, but you won the first. You won $50. The first, it's like they do $1 square.
They handed me $50.
Pays at the half, pays at the end.
Malcolm took it out of my hand.
I took a picture of you with it. You posed up. I said, "Let me see your phone." Snapped a quick.
And then you said, "Now give me that money." And then you paid your.
Paid my debt. I lost. I bet I bet a halftime bet.
What was the halftime bet?
It was a parlay. I took the Niners and the over. And I would have won the Niners part because it was tied because I caught a point, but then I needed 4 more points. They called that they would have. I'm very confident that was a pivotal moment in the Super Bowl when George Kittle caught that deep bomb right before halftime, and they would set them up 1st and goal in the 4 just a few seconds. And why they weren't taking their timeouts before that turnover or change of possession, I do not know, but. If that had not have been offensive pass interference, they would have scored a touchdown. I would have won my first half parlay. So I'd have won like, I don't know, it was a $50 parlay. It'd have paid $100-something bucks, something like that. But I would have won that. San Francisco would have had the rest of the momentum going into the half. They would have come back and dominated the second half, and they'd have won the Super Bowl. But because I lost that bet, they lost the Super Bowl. Does all that sound crazy?
Between the ribs the day before.
So that's how I lost your $50. And then I lost another $50 because I just took San Francisco to win the game for $50 and I lost that too. So I don't know why I was betting on those Gold Rush wings. The Kansas City ribs told me who to bet on. So that's going to be my thing next Super Bowl. I don't care who's in it. We're going to do I'm going to come up with 2 recipes.
Go ahead.
Cook them, see which was better, and that's who we're putting our money on, baby.
That sounds like a plan. I'm in on that plan.
You're in
That's
on that
the way
plan.
I like to bet. Very obscure ways.
Very obscure ways.
I bet oddly.
So we had a great Super Bowl.
Yeah, we went to a friend's house. They cooked ribs and wings. They were real good.
Yeah.
Somebody cooked some bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers that were really
Justin
good.
did those, and I was going to get him to tell us about those. So when he comes back, that's what we're going to talk about.
I did a jalapeno popper cheese ball.
That was
really good.
Football. I know it was one of those nailed it that you really did do good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a
Pinterest?
new recipe.
Was it a Pinterest thing you got the idea from?
Yeah. And I kind of took someone's recipe and modified it. I added some fresh diced jalapenos to it, and it was cream cheese and regular cheese, and I shaped it in the shape of a football and then coated the outside and crumbled up bacon.
Oh,
it was good.
And use little cheese, thinly cut cheese strips with the laces.
Those are like.
Did you not get a picture of it to put on your? See, we should have.
I meant to, but I'm gonna turn that into a real recipe.
I also did. Now I know I mentioned last week that my favorite. You checked out on bringing some food. And you just made dip or whatever, the Captain Rodney's dip with the pepper jelly. I was going to share that on Instagram. We didn't ever get around to it, but we did, and we'll use those for something. And I also did the appetizer, the pimento cheese and the smoked sausage on the cracker with the pickle. So a couple of my favorite little easy appetizers, but we'll have to share those at a later date.
You can really share those at any time.
Yeah, they're fantastic for anything.
Yeah. You're at home on Saturday. You want to feel fancy.
Yeah.
I did my famous mac and cheese.
That's what that was, I didn't eat anything over there. I think I grabbed one cookie on the way out.
You're a germ freak.
I didn't want to get all these kids running around. I didn't want to get the damn flu, and I didn't get sick. You're the one that got sick this week. I told you, taking me over this. We've got all this place, a perfect place with like a buffet style eating. Everybody's gonna be touching. I said, nope, not this guy. None of that for the kid. I'm gonna stick to these ice cold Bud Lights right here in this cooler right by me. Nobody get their hand in there. I got that. I can run them.
I can't argue that.
And then we can go home and I can eat some cold jambalaya. That's exactly what we did. I had a great time. I didn't get sick, but you tried all kinds of stuff, I bet, didn't you?
I tried a few things.
Oh.
Snack eating is my favorite.
So, hey, Super Bowl is in the peak of flu season. Man, you want to talk about getting sick? You go to somebody's Super Bowl party with a bunch of little snotty-nosed kids. Chances are high if you go get, they touch everything in there.
Yeah, they did.
I stayed outside where there was some good cold air, the fire going, sanitizing stuff.
Yeah,
I can see the TV in the corner.
Yeah.
Just fist bumps, no handshakes. Sanitizer in the pocket. Cold beer.
I was pretty
I'm really not a germ freak, but I just think that's a funny story.
It's kind of true.
Kind of.
I was pretty sick I felt it coming on like Tuesday morning. By Wednesday, I was.
You were done.
Oh yeah, I needed a day to recover. One thing I wanted to touch on real quick before we wrapped up today is authentic recipes and cooking.
Oh yeah,
because every time we put out a recipe, pretty much almost every recipe, someone tells you
not how it's done.
It's not how it's done, and then you got other people saying, "Man, you nailed it," And I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, let me put this into perspective. I can understand, like let's say Memphis dry ribs or Memphis ribs. You could go to 5 different places in Memphis that are famous for the Memphis style ribs, and they're all different.
And they're doing them all different. Yeah. Go to Rendezvous, go to Central, then go to Barbecue Shop. You're right. It's all different. To me, authentic. Is
there any?
What's the such thing? As long as everything I do, I like to. It's my interpretation of
an
authentic recipe.
You say that a lot.
Yeah, to me, that's how I do it. And it's like the past 2 recipes I did. So meatheads, Chicago style Italian beef.
That's what got me thinking about
that. I caught some flack over that, but to me, that's how I would my take on an authentic style of Italian beef.
Well, see, the funny thing
my
is,
take.
For every person that says this is not really how you do a Chicago Italian beef, you had just as many people saying, you got it right.
Yeah.
Man, you nailed it right on the head.
I think there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Yeah. The old saying or something like that.
But the jerk.
Yeah, and the jerk, same way with jerk. Is it like, I've been to Jamaica and had jerk all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
They're not all the same down there.
Exactly.
But they have same things. They have common characteristics. I'm not saying anything I do is the be all end all, but I just think it's my take on stuff, And if I can call it, I'm going to call it my take on authentic, traditional, whatever.
A lot of times.
That's how I roll.
It's more like, this is how I'm doing it today.
Yeah.
It different tomorrow.
That's right.
And, I get the jerk. I really do. Because you're not using the pimento wood. You don't have the big barrel,
Yeah, but it's
you
still.
don't have any red stripe,
I needed a red stripe the other day, too. That'd have been great. But I don't know. My thing for authentic cooking, I think it leaves some room for interpretation. I'm not going to do something and say, oh, this is exactly how you have to do it the authentic way.
This is
it's thrown around. It's thrown around a lot. You see it, used a lot, but it doesn't mean food in general or recipes. They're great guidelines, but and it's kind of like art. Is there a right or wrong way to paint a picture or, to do something? It's kind of, that's the way I think of it. To me,
it's personal interpretation.
Yeah, it is. It is personal interpretation. I think you have regional styles and things, and areas, and that's where maybe the authentic thing comes around. But what some people think is authentic may not be authentic to somebody else. So a lot of it's like what you was raised with and how you had it. You may have been having it wrong the whole time, but to you, it's authentic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real. That's a good way to look at it. You could have lived in Chicago your whole life, and this is what the little shop by you had Chicago Italian beef, and you thought it was authentic because that's the way you grew up with it. But is that really the way, whoever somebody else says it's authentic? I don't know. It's too much room for interpretation.
And at this point, with
I don't think there's no right or wrong. I just think there's
delicious.
As long as it's delicious. Yeah, exactly.
What's some foods? So I made a list. Well, I made a very short list of what some foods like people say this is authentic. Fill in the blank. That you're kind of always skeptical.
Well,
of.
probably I don't know. A lot Mexican food comes to mind. You see that You see that a lot of times. Authentic tamales or carne asada and all these things. And
because I'll tell you,
there's so many different ways to do.
The authentic tamales are not. I prefer what Mississippi
Delta style tamale. Yeah, I do too.
That's a whole different.
It is.
Those
are authentic to me. That's when I think of tamales. That's what I think of. But then
those are my favorite. Yeah.
We think I say authentic. Yeah, sure. That's misused all the time. Authentic Mississippi farm raised catfish, and it's these big giant fillets that somebody's serving you packed with an inch and a half of batter. That's not. There's nothing authentic about that. Not even sure it's real catfish.
Crawfish bowls.
I don't know. I don't ever see. You see authentic crawfish bowl? I've never seen that.
You don't have to say authentic, but there's a lot of wrong ways to boil crawfish.
Yeah, there is. Is there a wrong way? That's how you do it.
It's something that's tasteless, or they put all the seasonings on the shells, or
not delicious is what.
Yeah, or they're overcooked, or you're just not delicious.
Yeah.
Not delicious.
That might be good to some people, but
what's your definition of a Memphis? To you, what is Memphis ribs?
Well, when somebody says Memphis ribs, the first one comes to mind to me is a dry rib.
Yeah.
A loinback rib.
Because you grew up.
Yeah, loinback rib with dry seasoning on it. But we've always had, you could get them both ways, or you can get them muddy. Yeah. And so I guess the number one thing you say Memphis rib to me is a loinback rib, seasoned with it's a little sweet, a little spicy, balanced out, usually reddish in color, with or without sauce. If it's dry, you put more seasoning on it when it comes out. If it's wet, it's served with the sauce. It's been cooked on just a little bit. It's muddy. That's how it's always been to me when I think of it. But there's room for interpretation.
Well, you know what I thought about is one of the most famous rib joints in Memphis has Greek origins.
Yeah, Rendezvous. Yeah, that's in their style of ribs. It's more of a charcoal grilled rib. You could cook them on that Santa Maria attachment and have it come closer to their rib. They're not even like a tender rib. They cut them with the knife to split them to where you can tear them, but it's more gnawing off the bone. And that's a Memphis institution. Mm-hmm. It's one of the oldest joints in town and been doing them that way forever. People go crazy over it and they ship them all over the world. And they kind of developed their own style of Memphis ribs. They're all right. I mean, it's, you go there. I go there for the sausage and cheese plate and the cold beer.
And the atmosphere.
Yeah, and the atmosphere. In fact, while you brought that up, we're going to do Meatheads meet up in Memphis, and it's going to be the dinner is going to be at that Rendezvous. So if you come to that, you'll get to experience Rendezvous.
Yeah.
Go to amazingribs.com and check out info on that. For real.
That's the end of July, by the way.
End of July. You got plenty of time to plan on that one.
The Corky's rib is really kind of the Memphis.
Yeah, and it's
to me.
It's up there. I'm not crazy about Corky's sauce.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like their dry rub though. Their dry rib rub is as Memphis as it gets.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, and they do catfish,
and it's
not
good.
bad. It's still not authentic Mississippi style catfish.
You gotta go down more south,
or go to get
the catfish that I think of when I think of authentic
catfish.
Yeah. You got to go Delta, Central Mississippi area.
We do it all right up here. You do live with the Catfish King of Mississippi. I still got to find that plaque. That's like my mission this year, to find my Catfish King plaque.
I can't even imagine. You sure Waylon doesn't have it?
I'm positive. Last place I saw it, I had it hanging up in the office when I was working at BHN 11, 12 years ago.
Did you bring it home?
Sure. Yeah, I brought a box of stuff home. I wonder if that box is still somewhere. Took it off the wall because I had a Earnhardt Jr. I had a Dale Earnhardt clock and the Crawfish King.
Clock you won from Variety Club. Remember?
That was a Bloody Mary clock. That's what it was. That's right.
You won the Bloody Mary contest and they gave you a wall clock.
That's right. It's 2 major awards.
You're missing 2 major awards.
I gotta find both of those. I think that clock quit working and I punched out the thing and took out the little backing of it and kept it. So I got them in a box somewhere. I just got to.
But I don't remember it when we moved.
Yeah,
That's what concerns me.
Memories. Should have took a picture of
it. This weekend we're going to.
We got a class.
Yeah.
Memphis Barbecue Supply.
Sold out. Yeah. It's been sold out for a while.
Yeah, it's sold out. So
but this is a different class. We've never done a grilling class.
It's all about grilling. We're going to talk about the aspects of grilling. We're going to we're going to go over a few foods. We're going to do wings. I want to do tri-tip, and we're going to do a ribeye steak. Those are three things that I think everybody ought to know how to do on a grill. And, but we're going to field all questions about grilling, kind of go over the basics and how we set up our grills and my favorite grills to use and some of the tools and techniques. And, we're even going to break out some pellet grill info on there. Mark and Jamie Swine Life's going to be there with me, and we're going to have a good time there. And then the next week, is that one sold out? The Grills of Mississippi barbecue class.
I checked yesterday. There was one seat left.
Well, there's one seat left. Anybody wants to come, but it's going to be down in Madison, Mississippi, at the Grills of Mississippi.
But it's a barbecue.
And it's a yeah. We've got Jay from Tennessee Mojo and the Swine Life guys again. We're going to do chicken, ribs, pork butt, and brisket at that one. And it's going to be more about how to barbecue those to perfection
in your
for your friends and family
in
your backyard. So that's what I got coming up. And then we're going to Jamaica the next. Like, we can do that class on Saturday, and we're leaving the next day. We do got to go to Atlanta and then change planes, and then next stop Montego Bay. It's 30-something degrees here today.
Nobody wants to hear about your vacation.
I don't care. I'm screaming it from the top of the rafters. We've been counting this down for a while.
Yeah, we have.
When did I book this trip? Back in September or something like that? It's been a while.
No.
Before that?
I remember when we were on vacation in July, we were trying to talk Whitney and Dustin and going with us.
Okay.
So it was before.
It's been a while then.
Yeah. It might have been 8 months ago.
Well, is there anything else that we're covering on episode 2?
No, what you got coming up this next week?
Something from Mardi Gras. I think I'm feeling some voodoo sauce.
Ooh, what's voodoo sauce?
Maybe on some voodoo wings.
Is voodoo sauce spicy? It's got to be spicy, right? A little spicy.
It's going to have some kick. It's going to be my version of a voodoo sauce. I don't even know what a voodoo sauce is. I'm making it up. I really am. It's something I've been writing a recipe down. I got to throw it together. I'm working on it this weekend a little bit and test it out a couple times, and hopefully it'll be good. Do some voodoo wings. Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Oh.
That's it. Where can they find us, Shell?
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today, and y'all fire them grills up this weekend. We'll see y'all next week. Try them jerk pork chops. They're good.
Yeah, they are good.